So the next thing, I spent from 9:12 around 2 a.m. till the morning, maybe 9 a.m. of 9:17, so whatever that adds up to, working maybe 14 to 16 hours, getting a little rest, and then going back. I was always in the same spot, so I thought probably smarter so people knew where to come and find me.
Right.
The specific injuries were all pretty easily treated. I think I remember one guy I thought had a broken arm, and I put him in a sling and said, "Hey, you need more than me."
Mm-hmm.
But there weren't terrible injuries. There were a couple of dogs who fell down and needed treatment of their feet.
Wow.
And I gauzed up their feet and said, "Hey, get them out of here." These
From
guys,
like the heat, or just walking around all the rubble?
Walking on rubble and climbing up big pits of where you used to have asphalt is now into the subway or whatever it is down there.
Yeah.
And the dogs would just go down and then have to scrabble up. I don't know if that movie where the golden retriever at the end comes back at the end,
Mm-hmm.
limping.
Yeah,
that kind of
Homeward Bound.
Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
What's that dog's name?
Was that Shadow?
Shadow. Yeah. Chance and the other, and
Yeah,
the cat.
Chance and
I love that movie.
Me too.
And those dogs were coming in to me for the same kind of problem, and I said,
Right.
"Well, let's just bandage them up and get them out of here. You don't hurt them anymore."
Yeah.
But so there weren't any amazing stories. When you saw something that you thought was, you couldn't identify it as a finger, but you saw a fingernail
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a little piece of tissue,
Mm-hmm.
and you think that's all that was left of that person. Maybe the rest is dust or rubble or whatever,
Yeah.
and that goes off to the DNA section. Those moments where you thought that this is 3,000 plus real people, not some movie.
Yeah.
And it did look like a movie, but it wasn't a movie. So I did that till early 10 o'clock on the 17th, and then everybody realized that we were probably not needed. There were plenty of people local, and we were going to go home. So I get on the plane. We all look like bushed, minimal showering, all that stuff.
Right. Beat to death.
Beat and bonded. We liked each other.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got home, and I had been one of those doctors who felt, I have 4 kids, and I thought, well, my job is to be a doctor and get them food.
Yeah.
And I worked hard. I went to 3 or 4 hospitals before each day. So I get to the hospital. I get to my office at 7 after going to 3 or 4 hospitals. And a lot of people don't understand that as an aspect of a doctor's life. Now it's hospitalists. You send them off and you just stay in your office. It's sort of a different program.
Mm.
Then it was a little bit harder. But I got home and realized, number one, how many kids I got? What are their names? What grade are they in? And the 3 older ones from my practice marriage probably didn't benefit from my decision as much as the 10-year-old.
Yeah.
The 10-year-old, I learned his name. I shut down my early morning stuff and started spending from 5:30 till going to school. He went to the Albuquerque Academy because he's smart, and developed a relationship with him that is unique in my life.
Mm-hmm.
A true friend who probably would not have been such without 9/11. It woke me up.
Yeah.
Said, "Hey, what are you doing with your life? was the purpose? Well, part of the purpose certainly was to still provide food, but the other purpose was be a father. Get involved with these kids as much as you can. So we would go to, and this was all because of 9/11. We would go at 5 or 5:30 to Starbucks right across the street from the school. And so I'm going to grab my hand. We do this. We'd shake hands with somebody as they come in, and we would pretend to be Borat. Remember Borat?
Yeah.
So we'd hold hands uncomfortably long, like 30 seconds. And now I can't do the accent the way he could. He's amazing. He would
Unlike you.
He would say, "You like coffee? Coffee?" And then hold the hands until the people started pulling away.
Yeah.
And they got real uncomfortable. Then I said, "We'll let go." And so the first time that happened, and we kept on doing it, it was an experience of, we're going to bond with these people whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
And initially they didn't want to. And then as they became regulars, they're reaching out to us.
Yeah.
And they were doing an accent. It wasn't always Borat, but after an hour and a half each day, and then I take them to school, then I go to work, not as long hours, all of that changed. But now, fast forward, this kid's a neurologist married to an OBGYN, just moved to Albuquerque to work at UNM. That same kid. And he's one of one. He's heading a headache clinic at UNM. They have no other headache specialists.
Really?
So he's the deal, and he starts in a couple weeks.
That's amazing.
So that's the full thing. I definitely have kept in touch with him more than I would have by a lot, and he is an incredible friend, as is his wife. And I think that kid also made my wife Liba much more fulfilled than she would have been. And the 9/11 thing helped us a lot.
It's a bittersweet understanding, but it's astounding. Like what came of it.
Yeah, obviously you start with horrible.
Yeah.
And then a lot of good came from it, including...
Especially if you learn from it. Like,
I learned a lot.
A lot of people could just keep going and not think twice about certain things. You know what I mean? It happens a lot. There's a lot of fathers that have those chances, those moments to realize, like, am I spending too much time trying to be number one or make the most money and completely neglecting their family? And then it's what happens. It becomes strange. Like you were saying, you realize that you didn't know their names and you didn't know what grades they were in or anything about them. And
that was a little bit exaggerated, but not a lot.
No, I understand what you're saying.
And
because it happens a lot. And
it does, and there are people
always choose the stature over what's really
sometimes
important.
when you get shaken up, and I did. That's what happens, and a lot of people and there were some stories in the Albuquerque Journal, partly because it was the Albuquerque Journal plane and it was a big story, so they wrote a little bit about me. But people would come up and talk about it and want to talk about it, and I think they benefited from that, and reminding me of my time there further benefits me and continues to.
I think there truly is some kind of butterfly effect from events like that. Like,
that's well put.
There's things happening that you don't realize from you being there, and you'll probably never know all the things that came from it, and I think that's kind of good. It's kind of good to know. It's good to have that kind of mystery, because life is beautiful at the end when you think about it. At the end of the day, it's chaotic and it's stressful, and there's a lot of bad, but I truly believe it's our perspective of it.
I think not just my growth from this, but seeing all the cooperation between first of all the police and firemen who traditionally sort of battle each other for who's the best.
Right.
We're cooperating on a daily basis and doing a real good job, considering the circumstances they had to deal with. It was a very good, very bad experience.
Yeah.
But I still I'm still in awe of it, and I still probably am growing from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that you would want it to have gone any different.
No, I agree. It was probably as good as it could be, considering.
Right.
And I lucked out, and was thoughtful about getting in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I think that I had as life-changing an experience as I could.
Yeah. As awful as it is, I feel like that's kind of Mother Nature's way of purging humanity, because
Maybe.
it's every time horrible things like that happen, it's when we come together. I mean, the last thing that was similar to that was probably COVID, as far as people
Yeah.
coming together as one.
Or think about what's going on in the Ukraine. How tight are they getting?
Right.
I imagine that's like 1,000%
Yeah.
more than what happened to me, and they're dealing with it every day.
Yeah, and it's kind of a learning lesson too, that anything can happen at any moment. To not,
Yeah.
to not just think that we're on this streamline of paradise.
It's not all
living.
smooth.
Yeah, it's not all smooth all the time. Like, it's good to be prepared emotionally and mentally for these things. And we're living in times right now where anything can really happen. We don't know what's going to be happening in the next few years. It's just, times are real strange. And I think it's good for people like you that have gone through situations like that. That helps maybe younger generations, or even just people that have never been through situations like that. People like you are the calm ones when it happens again, or if it happens again, to keep other people more level-headed.
I hope that's true.
And situated. I mean, I do. I mean, just me personally hearing the story, like, it gives me more comfort knowing that there's a lot of people out there that would do the same thing that I think I would do.
I guarantee if someone asked you to do that,
oh yeah,
you could not live with yourself
No.
if you said no.
Yeah.
Just no. It's the only answer is, where do I go? When? What should I get? What do you want me to do?
I'm sure many people have done this just without even thinking. You just run into danger when someone else is in trouble. Like, you don't even think about it. I've done it, a few times, not knowing that I was putting myself in more danger than I realized until after the fact. But you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about
If you
helping
got
other
somebody
people.
to help.
Yeah.
The burning car thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like I said, it's comforting to me to know that there's people of all ages and backgrounds that do that. Because doctors do get a bad rep for a lot of reasons, as far as them, especially after COVID. They kind of became inhumanized, like the police did,
Yeah.
for just people's opinions from headlines. Not, go out there and talk to someone, and get to know them. I think that's the best. Like you and your son did, just go out there and meet new people.
Yeah. My final, when I was a family physician, my best treatment, and it's too bad it sort of can't be done, but my best treatment was a hug. I don't care what medicine they ended up on, if any. Give them a hug.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't need a hug, what's wrong with you?
It's always nice to be hugged, I think.
So anyway, that's changed a little bit with COVID, with the new laws, with worries about pedophiles, whatever, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you should give the doctor a little bit of a leeway. Let him give you a hug.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good point to end on. Elliot Pierce, it was awesome talking to you.
Yeah, it's really it actually helps me. Thank you very much.
I'm glad. It is cathartic to talk about things. Appreciate it.